Action. Guys, action.
Oh, yeah. All right. Hey, hey guys. Welcome to our video. I'm Ben and this is Katie. And in this video, we're going to talk about phone addiction, what it is, and most importantly, what are some of the things that we can do to finally break free from it. So first of all, it's no surprise we spend a lot of times on our phone, and we are living in a day and age where we have a lot of information coming at us. And I think in this video, we're going to first talk about some of the hidden challenges around phone addiction. We all know the algorithms and the reasons why it's so addictive. We're not going to get too much into that. But we are going to get into some of the reasons why it is causing some detrimental effects. And then most importantly, how we can do some very simple things to finally change our relationship to our devices and break free from the addiction itself. So first of all, one of the major changes that's happened really just in the last decade or two is, of course, our access to information. Now, I think it's amazing that we live in this day and age where we have devices like this. You may be watching this video on a device, and that's great because we can have access to incredible information that can teach us things and help us to change and improve ourselves in various ways. At the same time, it can be very hard to limit the amount of information that comes our way and the type of information that comes our way. We don't yet have the most curated filters and the best filters, at least the ones that are working for our best interest at all times, right? And so one of the issues with being on the phone, apart from just staring at a screen all day, is also that oftentimes we're getting notifications, we're seeing news alerts, we're seeing news stories of things that are happening in far off distant places. And while it's a good idea to be informed, at the same time, when we're exposed to so many things that are sort of hitting the alarm buzzer, and these are things that we're not able to actually do something about immediately, that stress hormone, those stress hormones and chemicals produced by that information are just hanging out in the body. We have to remember that as technologically advanced as we are, we're also still ancient brains that evolved 500,000 years ago. And we evolved also beyond that in smaller societies and social circles, such that if we receive some kind of alert or alarm, like the neighbor's house is on fire, that would mobilize us for action, and there was usually something that we could do about it. Now we hear about things that are happening all over the place and we can't necessarily do anything about it. So again, it just sort of keeps us in this state of constant alarm, and we're not going to alleviate that alarm by flying overseas and solving the problem tomorrow.
Yeah, absolutely. And along with the information overload that happens is, like Ben was saying, it kind of gets stuck in our body. And then when we're using our phone all of the time, we're never allowing our body to fully integrate and release the information or the way the information makes us feel, right? So we see something devastating on our phone and it makes us feel a certain way. And instead of putting the phone down and potentially processing those emotions, we go in search of something that's going to make us feel better. So we're constantly filling in the white space in our lives with our phones. We are inundated with noise literally all the time, except for when we're sleeping, hopefully. So we don't get to process our emotions, and we're not processing our emotions. They're completely stuck in our body, and when our emotions are stuck in our body, we've seen that can create chronic conditions and chronic illness. You know, if you've read the book, The Body Keeps the Score, that's all that's talked about there. So we need to kick the phone addiction, put the phone down, create some silence and some stillness and some white space in your life so you can start processing all the stuff that you're taking in all day, every day.
Yeah. And it doesn't mean that we're going to not use the devices. We're still going to use them, but instead we're not going to use them as this constant, jack bringing us information. We're going to use them as a tool. And so what I advocate for is, number one, is setting intentional time with the phone, especially when we're going to be doing activities that wherever there's something like a feed where we don't have full control over what we're about to see, going on social media, for example, it's a great idea to set a limit for yourself. I even like to set a timer on my phone. I still like to be on social media and see what's going on and see what my friends are up to and so forth. But it's also a good idea to maybe set that timer for 15 minutes or 30 minutes and just give yourself that time and really enjoy it. Let yourself go there, but when that timer goes off, honor your commitment, put the phone down. If you consumed anything or maybe something came your way that increased the amount of tension you're feeling, give yourself that moment to withdraw from it, move your body, breathe, and allow yourself to kind of integrate and process all of this information, because it's like you said, you can think of it that we're living in a way where we're like inhaling all the time and we're never really exhaling, right? If you're eating all the time and you're not digesting, it's going to lead to issues. And so in this way, we want to be intentional. We want to, yes, give ourselves that time to eat or take in information, but also give ourselves that white space, that needed time to process it.
Yeah, for sure. And something that you mentioned when we talked about intentional phone time just kind of like struck something in me. We talk about savoring a lot in the Reorigin program. And so if you're going to be on your phone, savor it. Savor the heck out of it. If you're on Instagram for 30 minutes or whatever that might be, you're not having TV on in the background. You're not with your friends. You're just there, and that is what you're doing, and you're really savoring whatever you're receiving from it. Because then we're creating a little bit of that dopamine sensitivity, and you won't need hours upon hours on social media or YouTube or whatever it might be, because you're satiated with the 30 minutes or the 15 minutes or whatever it might be. So when you're on social media, enjoy the heck out of it, but set the timer and then put it away when you're done.
Yeah. And the last tip I'll give is that when we're using our phones, it can become a sort of habit to tense up, to develop a lot of this tension, because we're kind of like really zoned into whatever we're focusing on. And this is where it's important and helpful to just remember to relax your body. And what that does is it drops our attention from that focused spotlight attention into this more diffuse lantern awareness, which puts us back in our body. And when we maintain contact with our body, then we're actually more in tune. We notice, oh wow, I've been sitting in this funny position with my neck down for an hour and a half, and this isn't feeling good. I'm going to put the phone down. So one of the ways that we can cultivate that is simply to relax our bodies when you're with the phone, and then what might happen is you'll realize when you've gotten full, so to speak.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I love that. That's a great way to look at it when you've gotten full. So a couple of our favorite tips, you guys, but before you kick the phone addiction, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel and also sign up for our newsletter, reorigin.com/newsletter. We'll see you guys soon.